challenges in our relationships, particularly with the Saudis, with the Kuwaitis, with the UAE, and with other countries. We disagreed on the degree to which we should be promoting democracy. We disagreed on whether we would support the degree of support for Mubarak. There are other disagreements as well. Our judgment is that our common interests are stronger than our disagreements. That we have strong interests, for example, in Iran. We have strong common interests in Saudi Arabia, in Yemen. We have strong common interests as well in maintaining an orderly oil market. And that in the long term, we will continue to have strong relationships with these countries. On Iran in particular, we asked the question, what is the future of the Green Movement? And maybe I can tell you right off, we don't know. But at the moment, it's distinctly underground, and despite the fact that the Secretary of Defense has said that eventually the Arab Spring will reach Tehran. That's a little bit of irony. We think it started in Tehran. And we think it may get back there, but there is no green shoots in sight at this moment. There is no appeal of the Iran model to the other Arab Spring states, and in general, the idea that somehow that this is an advantage to Iran seems to be working out in the opposite direction. The story is not fully told there. Crucial here will be what happens in Syria. Has the Arab Spring impeded in any way the Gulf defense and the ability of the Arab Gulf states to defend themselves? The answer is no, just the opposite has happened. In fact, because of U.S. arms sales and because of the willingness of the Gulf states to work closely with us, they are probably even better prepared for any eventuality than they were before the Arab Spring. To move on to terrorism, and just a brief comment, since Mike Ryan was the leader for this section, cannot be here today. There are two implications. One is the Arab Spring sentiment has the Al-Qaeda ideology has proved its bankruptcy. It has little appeal and figured insignificantly in almost all of the Arab Spring revolutions. But that's the good news. The bad news is that Al-Qaeda and other extremist movements such as this can take advantage of the chaos and of the confusion that ensues. And the case in point here is Yemen, where they probably have the best opportunities, although there are a lot of other opportunities as well. Overall, we think that the Arab Spring will usher in an era of realignment, and the outlines are just becoming apparent. I have made several allusions to what they might be. We think the U.S. role will be major and paramount, but more limited than now. We think those who have the money will have more influence. We see limits to for example, to the Chinese, both because the Arab states, the Arab Spring states, are not particularly attached to or attracted to Chinese culture, and the Arabs have internal sources of money other than turning to the Chinese. We think the UAE and particularly Qatar have shown what small states can do when they have the resources and the talent to step forward. We see this as a positive sign. I would like to make a few comments too about driving factors and about U.S. policy. On driving factors, what's happened is the most important and revolutionary agent has come forward again. That's testosterone. There is no more revolutionary factor than unemployed young males, particularly if they are educated. This is connected up with technical savvy and, frankly, media such as Al Jazeera. And all of this is combined to thwart the decades of frustration of the development of alternative leadership outside the regimes. It no longer takes a skilled political leader to stage revolution. It takes a 20 or 30-year-old young man or young woman who understands how to use the internet and to mobilize crowds. The implication of this is, of course, the hard part comes later. You do need the skilled political leadership because while you can force the revolution, you can force the regime change, it takes years and sometimes decades to foster the changes that will be required to meet the demands. All of this, I would say, is that the prize of jobs, justice, and dignity is not far from our own cry of our own revolution, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's all part of the same spirit. I'd like to break down the countries into several groupings. I mentioned I thought the revolutions actually started in Tehran in 2009. First of them is Egypt and Tunisia, where, in fact, the role of the military was crucial in the revolution, and the fact that the military did not side with the regime was the crucial factor that allowed the revolution to take hold. I would put in another group Libya and Bahrain, and this seems like a strange grouping, but the relevance here is the role of outside forces. Libya couldn't have happened unless NATO took a very expansive view of its role of protecting people. And on the other side, in Bahrain, the reinforcement of the regime by the deployment of GCC forces was a significant boost to the staying power of the body. I would put Syria and Iran as the two great major game changers that are yet to play out, and their influence and whatever happens there will be as equally as important as Egypt's. And we can talk about these prospects in the question and answer period if you like. I would put in a separate category apart from everything else Yemen. The President Saleh has famously described himself as now for nearly more than 3 decades is dancing on the heads of snakes, and it's always a difficult dance. One of our scholars described Yemen as not a failed state, but not a failed society, because the government has never run very strong throughout the country. But now there's the possibility that Yemen could become a failed society as well as a failed state, meaning degenerate more along the lines of Somalia. And the final comment about Yemen, I don't think it's hopeless, but in the words of another scholar, even the Saudis don't have enough money to fix Yemen. So, to turn to the final conclusion, I would say that on policy, the President has been very clear in his speech on May 19 that promotion of democracy is a strong U.S. interest, and it's grouped up there with all the other first-rank interests. And then the Secretary of State, a month ago, gave a speech, and she added a couple of provisos that I think are important. The first one is we will judge the promises not by of the state what to do. And the second one is a recognition, as she put it. Our interests will not and don't always align, and we will have to walk and chew gum at the same time.